Hi guys, it's Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge along with Bandit. Today we're taking a look at a knife by Marbles, a folding knife, assisted, nice deer tracks on there. So it's a cool looking knife with a black wash blade, an assisted folder, budget knife. If you're interested, stick around, we're going to do a full review. Looks like Bandit's not interested, he just turned away. Oh well. Guess he doesn't have opposable thumbs anyway, so how's he going to use the knife, right? Yeah. So this is the Marbles MR324. You can see that right on the blade right there. Made in China. 7CR17 aka 440A steel. There's your Marbles logo on the blade. A nice black wash. Those of you who aren't familiar with me might not remember that I really like black wash blades. It's one of the first things that attracted me to this knife. And the second thing is, I hadn't seen this before, that, you know, a sort of a deer print on the liners before. So I've seen two-tone, liners and stuff before, but this one was a little bit unique. I like the black and the orange. It's a good touch. And so what attracted me to this knife was not its specifications, but its aesthetic. And so that's why I chose to buy it. That and the fact that it was a budget knife, not a lot of money at all. I bought this knife though quite a while ago, and I've forgotten off the top of my head how much I paid for it. Right around $14, $15 US, something like that. Memory's not serving me very well today. I'll put on the bottom of the screen how much it sells for right now. If you go to Marbles' website, Marbles Knives, they will direct you to Smoky Mountain Knife Works to give you any details and specs about the knife. And, that's where they suggest that you buy it from. You can't buy from their website. And so that's where I got this knife from back then. Some of the specs that are on the website are just a little bit off. And as I always do anyway, I like to measure myself and get some good specs using some fairly high specification tools, a nice vernier caliper and stuff. Well, let's get on to the specs and then we'll move on. Measurement specs. Let's talk about the blade to start off with. I've told you the steel. The cutting edge is 8.21 centimeters. So right from where my fingernail is to the tip of the blade, that's 3.23 inches. The thickness of the blade, here's where the spec is off a little bit. It's 0.110 inches, not 0.125 as the Smoky Mountain Knife Works says. That is 2.8 millimeters. The thickness of the steel behind the grind is 0.5 millimeter, which is 0.02 inches. And the length of the handle is 11.2 centimeters, which is 4.42 inches. The thickness of the handle is 0.45 of an inch, so just under half an inch thick, which is 1.1 centimeters thick. And the total length of the knife, you heard that assisted spring just fly that knife open. The total length of the knife is 19.2 centimeters, which is just over 7.5 inches long. Some of the other specs we got, well, we've got a drop point blade with a nice dramatic swedge there, totally unsharpened at the top. Liner lock. Tip down right side pocket clip only, but it's a very deep pocket clip. You've got just less than 1/4 of an inch of the knife sticking out of your pocket. The clip has got good spring to it. It holds onto the pocket quite well. It's definitely large enough for this knife. It holds very well. G10, two-tone G10. Solid steel liners, no skeletonizing. Open pillar construction, and here you can see the hourglass shaped pillars right there. That looks quite good. 2 pillars, stop pin that's just held in place, and then you get your pivot right there. Thumb studs, thumb riser, a little bit of jimping on that. No sharpener's choil, hollow grind. I think I've covered everything. Let's talk about what I like and don't like about this knife. The good about this knife, its looks. The reason I bought this knife is the reason I'm reviewing this knife and letting you guys know about it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's not totally unique, but it's somewhat unique, and it's a knife that I found attractive, and that's why I got it. The lots of belly that's on this blade is really good. That really helps it to cut. Since it's only 440A steel, it's a budget steel. It's the bottom of the list of budget steels, if you ask me. I don't prefer to buy knives with 7C or 17, but if that's the only choice, yeah, it's an okay steel if you don't push it too hard. You have to maintain it quite regularly. It doesn't hold an edge terribly long. It can take a pretty good edge, but yeah, it won't be there for a long time. So it's a light use kind of knife. It's not your heavy use EDC to carry around if you know you're going to have a busy day with a cutting edge. The black wash, I really like that. I like that they did the G10 and then the decorative work that they did on the G10. I like that as well. That's good work. The shape of the handle fits right in the palm of the hand really well. Quite comfortable when you're using it. No hot spots. That's a good thing. Big blade, that's a good thing. What are some of the negatives? Some of the things that aren't the best. I already mentioned I don't really like that 440 steel. I don't really like how light the liner lock is, although I do like where lockup happens. Lockup is, exactly what I want a new knife to lock up at. It's not too early, and it's definitely not late. That doesn't look too good with all the black. I'm going to try to get a close-up picture view for that. I'm not too fond of the one-position pocket clip. I would like more options. I don't really mind tip down, and I like it that it's nice and deep. So the pocket clip sort of has pros and cons to it. Blade centering, it took a fair bit of work to get that centered. And I think it's going to move pretty easily. I use the knife for a while and the centering goes off again, and that's partly because of these screws in here on the pillars. The steel on there is fairly soft. They've almost stripped out on me. It's hard to tighten them up nice and snug so that they'll hold. There you go. Those are the negatives. What are the kind of things that they did okay? It's not really a negative or a positive. I like the thumb studs. They're positioned where they should be, easy to access. The assisted spring is nice and strong. I wouldn't want it any stronger, and I wouldn't want it any weaker. And it's, nothing crazy. It just is okay. You can hold it in a lot of different positions comfortably. If they would have made that just a little flatter, it'd be even more comfortable, but it's not too bad. Doing the back grip, all the different kind of grips are okay. No hot spots really, good to work with. I would have liked the sharpener's choil. That would have been a nice touch, because sharpening, I've already went and nicked the edge of the steel right there, because I had to resharpen it. I used it a fair bit during my testing. It's a decent knife. Who do I recommend this knife for? You gotta love the aesthetic. If you don't love the aesthetic, this knife is not for you. It's just not good enough quality. Marbles makes some really good budget machetes and fixed blades and some other things. I found that their folding knives just don't have that much quality to them. I don't like to do negative reviews. So one of the reasons why I really wanted to still do this review was because I do like the aesthetic, and that's the main thing that's attracting me to this knife. In a pinch, this knife is going to do what you need to do as long as you don't need to do an awful lot of cutting. If you like the aesthetic, I've mentioned that 3 or 4 times. Time for me to shut up about that. It's a reasonable knife. If you like this review, even if you don't like the knife, you know, you think I did a good job on the review, give me a thumbs up. The thumbs up isn't for the product, it's for the reviewer. You know that, right? Yeah, most of you do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and sharing and commenting. And remember, cut towards your chum. That is the other guy, your friend, and not your thumb.